Mr. Ram Dubey, author from Relapsed to Redeemed, Mr. Poon Kok Hwa from Candid Creation Publishing, Mr. Amir Ali Abdali from Muslim Kidney Action, MKAC as we call it. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let's reply, la. Good morning, everybody. I'm very, very happy to join you today morning, especially on a Saturday early morning. And I would like to first thank the organizers for bringing together for this learning forum as part of the Singapore Skills Future Festival 2019. Before I begin, allow me to take this opportunity to express my commendation to Skills Future Singapore for organizing the second edition of the Singapore Skills Future Festival, which celebrates lifelong learning and skills mastery, as well as the Lifelong Institute for supporting and hosting today's event. I understand this year it will be a 6-week-long festival featuring more than 350 learning activities. I hope everyone will take time to participate and benefit from the variety of programs organized for every one of you. When Mr. Ram Dubey first approached me and invited me to this event, I accepted his invitation without a doubt, without any hesitation or second thought. As some of you might have known, and even perhaps even watched, earlier this year in January, I spoke in Parliament on the Misuse of Drugs Amendment Bill. In my speech, I focused on two areas, prevention and reintegration, and I'm heartened to learn that both these areas will be discussed in today's learning forum. Based on statistics by Central Narcotics Bureau, CNB, 3,091 drug abusers were arrested in 2017. 40% were new drug abusers. 2/3 of these new drug abusers are under the age of 30. Underlying this trend is a growing number of youth who are taking a more liberal attitude towards drug abuse, influenced by drug-related content from mass media, social media, and websites. This was confirmed in a survey conducted by National Council Against Drug Abuse, NACADA. And online peddling of drugs has also been flagged out as a rising concern by CNB. Unlike the past, more of today's drug abusers hail from middle and even upper-class families with parents having no history of drug abuse. Undergraduates, full-time national servicemen, young working adults are taking drugs, with some even going overseas to consume drugs, thinking they can evade detection and prosecution. There are currently many efforts aimed at addressing this growing pro-drug trend, including the recent media campaign launched by NACADA and the ongoing activities by the Dada Itu Haram campaign, as well as the annual activities and efforts by CNB. But based on my interaction with youth from all spectrum, I found that these campaigns are quite effective at reminding the mainstream youth, but not as effective as targeting the youth who are more at risk of drug abuse due to gang influence or even other delinquency issues. Ultimately, support from the community remains integral in the fight against drugs. In my speech in Parliament, I commended efforts such as CNB's United Against Drugs Coalition, an anti-drug coalition made up of local organizations and business enterprises. I also highlighted the good work undertaken by Revive SG, a ground-up initiative formed in 2017 by a group of former drug-related offenders and renounced gang members. Revive SG is interesting because, as my previous speaker, Mr. Ram, mentioned, we need more community-led approach, and we need ground-up initiative, especially from ex-offenders, especially from people who have gone through the painful journey to be redeemed by the society, by themselves. And Revive SG not only provides support and counseling to youth at risk, they also conduct recovery programs and educational programs for parents, educators, employers, and the public. So we need more of such initiatives and concerned individuals to step up to help these vulnerable people abusing drugs. In that light, I would like to express my heartiest congratulations to Mr. Ram Dubey on his latest book, From Relapsed to Redeemed, which shares invaluable knowledge on overcoming drug addiction and building a better future for all. The book shares a simple principle that the only medicine to recovery from drug abuse is abstinence. Abstinence comes from honesty, openness, positivity, and endurance, hence the acronym HOPE. This book shares insights from people in Singapore who are out of rehab. They share how they maintain the recovery. They also cite how they overcome the stigma and build a new and healthy life for themselves and their families and loved ones. Let him give a round of applause. Because his exemplary contribution in our effort is a model contribution in our effort to stamp out drug abuse in Singapore. Hopefully this is not the only book that we're going to see from you. And previously he has written a book on overcoming drinking, addiction to drinking, alcohol consumption. So now he's written a book on drug consumption and overcoming that. So hopefully in future you can address other societal problems that we're facing. As part of this forum, Mr. Ram's book has been made available to all attendees, and I believe you're free to donate any amount towards the Muslim Kidney Action Association, MKAC, as I shared earlier, a non-profit social organization for the benefit of the chronically ill members of our community, including kidney and organ failure patients and their families. MKAC is also a registered charity with the Commission of Charities as a full member of the National Council of Social Services. I also understand there will be a panel discussion later in which speakers will share how they recovered from the drug addiction and abuse and became anti-drug advocates and provide motivation and inspiration to others against drug abuse. This forum and panel discussion is essential to drum up and spread knowledge against drug addiction, encourage relapse prevention, and also promote skills needed in recovery. It is still a challenging issue to address, but with the support from the community at large, nothing is impossible. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child. I say we must all do our part to fight and stamp out drug abuse, starting with the young. With that, I wish everyone a pleasant and beneficial morning. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohd Irshad. May I kindly request our guest of honor to remain on stage for the next segment.
But before that, I would like to thank Mr. Ram Dubey, who printed this beautiful bookmark from Rose of Peace. And he was moved by the mission and what we do at Rose of Peace. He said he wanted to include a bookmark. He asked me to include what we do and all the values of peace and harmony espoused by all faith leaders. So I hope you guys find this bookmark in your book and share the message with others. Thank you.